Do you know someone who is functional on the outside, but fractured on the inside? Protesting. Is it changing anything? Let's start thinking differently. If protests really worked, there would be visible change. We are still protesting. There has been no change. Actually, things have been getting worse. Why? Because when we are anti something, whatever we are anti has to exist. Healing with the Rev podcast is going to bring you comfort, build community, and give you some inspiration to move forward. Pro peace. For those of you who are old enough to remember who Mother Teresa was, Mother Teresa during the Vietnam War was asked to come to an anti-war rally. She said, I will not be there, but when you have a peace rally, invite me, I will come. She understood the difference between anti whatever and peace. So let's be for peace. And peace does not mean sitting on your butt doing nothing. It's very active. I'm Reverend TeresaHeupel. I am your host of Healing with the Rev podcast. I have lost loved ones to death. I am here to honor your faith tradition, and here you can find peace, calm, and clarity. Peace starts with community building, one person at a time, standing for something rather than against something. When we stand for, we're taking a stance for what we want. Anti-war, anti-ICE, or whatever is going on today as you are listening to this, whatever we are anti really does have to exist. We're giving power over to whatever it is we are wanting to not exist. If we want to abolish something, we need to be pro whatever that is. For this, we want pro peace. We want to be for peace. I don't think anyone would argue with me about that, but they haven't changed their mindset from something negative to something positive. So let's build something positive in this world. Peace building starts with faith. Whatever your faith is, whether it's Christian, Jewish, Islam, or anything else, I say have a faith in a higher power somewhere, because life gets difficult. And when life gets difficult, sometimes we don't know what to do with that. Building with faith, people are coming together. They're learning together. They're expounding their beliefs. They're expounding justice. And aren't we all wanting social justice? Seriously. Drum circles. It's a great way to release pent-up emotions. At my church, we have a drum circle. And when I go there, I can pound on the djembe drums, as you'll see on this picture. There's a lot of djembe drums. It's a great way because you can come up with your own rhythm and you can come up with your own chant in your head. It's pretty awesome. The podcast format, we're going to have real stories. I'm probably going to be talking more than doing interviews. I have a lot of experience in a lot of different things. I'm going to give you some practical tips and some uplifting interviews as we go along. Expressions of heartache, honoring our pain. This woman is feeling the weight of her loss. Whatever that loss is, she is not sure she wants to face reality. Sometimes reality is really difficult because reality is not someplace where we want to be. But we are here and we are now. And if you're listening to this, you're paying attention. So you are present in this moment. She appears to be afraid to see what is in front of her, whether she lost a spouse or a friend or a child or lost a job, gone into retirement, doesn't know what to do with her time. There's so many different kinds of ways of heartache, so many expressions of heartache. And whatever you're feeling, know that you are in great company and everything you feel is all good. And so I would ask you to continue to watch these podcasts because they're going to be informative. Some of them are about loss of some sort. Some of them are about these protests and peace and how we can move forward. Honor yourself by doing what is right for you in the moment. Welcome back to Steady by Design. I'm TeresaHeupel, and today we are going somewhere that most podcasts won't go. We are talking about rage, not just anger, not mild frustration, not being annoyed or irritated or put out. Full, burning, consuming rage. And I want to say something right at the start that I need you to hear. If you have ever felt rage, you are not a dangerous person. You are a human being whose pain exceeded the container it was being held in. Let me explain what I mean. Rage does not appear out of nowhere. In my experience and decades of walking alongside people in crisis and hospital rooms and counseling sessions in grief circles, I have never once met anyone whose rage was irrational. I have met people whose rage was disproportionate to the immediate trigger, absolutely. But when I sat with them long enough, when we went underneath the explosion to what had been building beneath it, there was always a completely understandable story. Years of feeling unheard, decades of swallowed hurt, a lifetime of being told that their anger was not allowed, a threshold that was finally crossed by something that might have seemed small from the outside, but was anything but small from the inside. Rage is what happens when anger has been denied long enough. It is the pressure cooker that finally blows. And the question is never, why did this person explode? The question is always, what have they been holding and for how long? And why did they never get to put it down? On the feelings wheel, rage lives in the angry core cluster in the hostile secondary family. The tertiary emotions here tell the whole story. Furious, the acute experience of rage. White hot, all consuming, the moment when everything else disappears and there is only the fire. Enraged, a step beyond furious, when the anger has moved past the point of words and into something purely physical, something that wants to move, to strike, to destroy what is causing the pain. Hateful, what rage becomes when it has calcified, when the fire has been burning so long, it has hardened into something cold and fixed. Hatred is aged rage, rage that found an object and attached itself permanently. Aggressive, rage in motion, the behavioral expression of what the body needs to do with this much energy in the system. Provoked, the feeling of being deliberately pushed past your limit, the sense that someone knew exactly which buttons to push and pushed them anyway. Each of those needs to be approached differently. Each has a different story underneath it. Each requires a different kind of attention. I want to talk to you about what rage does to your body because understanding this changes everything. When rage activates your nervous system, it produces a hormonal flood that is designed for one purpose: maximum physical output. Fight, destroy the threat. Your heart rate can double in seconds. Your blood pressure spikes dramatically. Your muscles receive a surge of blood and oxygen. Your pain threshold rises. Your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for rational thought, for consequences, for empathy, goes essentially offline. This is why people say things in rage they would never say otherwise. This is why people do things in rage they cannot believe they did. It is not because they are bad people. It is because the biological system that was activated was designed for survival, not for relationship, not for nuance, not for consequence. You cannot reason your way out of rage. You have to move it through your body first. This is one of the most important things I will ever say on this podcast. Please hear it. When someone is in acute rage, telling them to calm down, to think rationally, to consider the other person's perspective is neurologically impossible in that moment. The part of the brain that processes those requests is not currently online. What works instead is physical movement: walking, running, shaking, hitting something safe, cold water on the face or wrists, which activates the dive reflex and slows the heart rate, and sound, which is where the shamanic drum becomes a profound tool for rage specifically. When we come back from the break, we're going to talk about how Steady by Design approaches hostile and furious energy. Let's pause here for just a moment. This is what I call the steady moment. A pause to remember that peace in the world begins with peace inside us. One thing I've learned from working with people over many years is that the world does not become peaceful through more reaction. It becomes peaceful through more steadiness. When your nervous system is regulated, your thinking becomes clearer, your decisions become wiser, and your presence alone begins to influence the people around you. That's the work I do through what I call Steady by Design. I help people regulate stress, restore clarity, and return to peace, both in their bodies and in their lives. Because when we become steady inside ourselves, we stop reacting to chaos and begin creating stability in the world around us. And that is where real peace begins. Book your discovery call using this QR code. Now, let's continue. Welcome back. Here is how Steady by Design approaches hostile and furious energy. Surface it. We name exactly where we are: furious, enraged, provoked, hateful. Each one tells us something about what has been building and for how long. Understand that we ask the most important question underneath rage. What have I been tolerating that I should not have been tolerating? Because rage almost always points to a violated boundary that was not addressed at the time, a thing that was swallowed when it should have been spoken, a limit that was crossed again and again without consequence. The rage is the bill coming due, and understanding what you have been silently absorbing is the key to preventing the next explosion. Move through it. For hostile, furious energy, the shamanic drumming recording I use is the slow, deep drum. not fast, slow, deliberately, intentionally slow, because the instinct where you are furious is to speed up. And the medicine is the opposite. A slow, deep, unwavering beat pulls the nervous system down from its peak activation state. It gives the rage somewhere to go that isn't destruction. It is one of the most ancient tools humanity has ever used for exactly this purpose. Anchor it. We come back to groundedness, to the body, to the breath, to the question now that the fire has moved through. What does it leave behind? What clarity? What boundary? What decision about what you will and will not accept going forward? I want to speak to anyone who is afraid of their own rage. Who has seen what they are capable of when the fire takes over and it scared them? Who has been living carefully ever since, keeping the lid on, staying controlled, avoiding anything that might crack the surface because they're afraid of what lives underneath? I see you, and I want to say this. The rage that scares you is not the truest thing about you. It is a wound that has never been properly tended. It is the years of pain that had nowhere to go. It is a signal, the loudest, the most desperate signal your system knows how to send, that something needs attention. You do not need to be afraid of it. You need to give it a safe container, a process, a guide. That is what this work is about, not suppressing the fire, learning to tend it. Your challenge for this week: think about the last time you felt genuine rage and ask yourself honestly, how long had that been building before it came out? Not to judge yourself, not to analyze the situation, just to get honest about how long you had been carrying something that needed to be addressed. Because the answer to that question tells you everything about what needs attention going forward. If you have enjoyed this episode, please like, follow, and subscribe here. Your follow and subscribe allows me to make better quality content for you. I will bring in guests on occasion. If this message resonates with you, I bring the Steady by Design framework to organizations, communities, and events that want to lead with clarity instead of reaction. I'd love to continue the conversation. Thank you for being here today. Steady by Design is available now in beta at steady-by-design.netlify.app. Until next time, stay steady. You were designed for this.